first speaker is Sandy Gallup.
As a New York State Assemblywoman representing the 95th Assembly District,
we need you to say your name and spell it.
I am. Sandy Galef, G-A-L-E-F, New York State Assemblywoman, the 95th Assembly District. And I'm here to express my deep concerns about the development of the Algonquin Incremental Market project throughout my district of Verplanck, Buchanan, Cortlandt, and Peekskill, which is concurrent with a proposal before the New York State Public Service Commission from West Point Partners for a transmission system in the same area of Verplanck. There is no question that there are too many energy proposals for one locale in northern Westchester, making it into a huge energy center in a very small residential community. Although you will hear from many giving testimony tonight about other issues of great importance and concern, I wish to focus with my limited time on the proximity of the proposed Algonquin pipeline to the Indian Point nuclear plants. We know that the Algonquin pipeline currently runs along the property owned by Entergy, but this hearing is about building a whole new line, very nearby and 62% larger. In 2014, we know a great deal more about nuclear plants and gas pipelines and safety than we understood in the 1950s when Indian Point was built, and in 1974 and 76 when Indian Point 2 and 3 were built. In January 2014, I'd written to FERC and the NRC expressing my concerns and asking, does the NRC have an opportunity to weigh in on the impact to Indian Point Energy Center safety that citing increased capacity gas pipelines and electric transmission lines would have, both in constructing of the line facilities as well as their ongoing operations? It is not clear to me how FERC has handled their communication with the NRC, and if they have requested a study or official conclusion from the NRC on this very important question with the Algonquin pipeline expansion and also with the recognition of the West Point partner proposal located near the Indian Point plant. I've heard that perhaps FERC can approve the application before you to allow Spectra to build this enormous pipeline and then, after the fact, have a review by the NRC. In my view, that approach, if true, seems backwards. I ask that before any decision is made by FERC, that an in-depth, conclusive study by the NRC be conducted to determine the impacts on the safety and operation of Indian Point. The siting of this pipeline is not just any residential area, but basically a nuclear compound, one that has received more attention and critique than any other in the United States, especially after 9/11. Before action is taken by FERC, the NRC should be required to sign off on the project and conclude that the safety and health of the public in this area is not compromised in any way or impacted negatively by the siting of Algonquin. It seems so ironic to me that the NRC cannot sign off on extending the licensing for Indian Point until the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation determines that the Hudson River and the aquatic activity in the river is not impacted negatively. Yet we may be in a situation where FERC can sign off and say yes to the project before the NRC says yes or no. This process is not acceptable to any of us who live and work in this area of the Hudson Valley.
Hi, my name is Debbie Costello, D-E-B-B-I-E-C-O-S-T-E-L-L-O, and I'm councilwoman from the town of Cortland. The proposed gas pipeline expansion takes an indisputably dangerous route through high-density residential areas. It would endanger the safety of our residents, not just in the town of Cortland, but throughout the Northeast Corridor. It would sit right next to the Indian Point nuclear power plant, which is also near the intersection of a proposed megawatt electric line. This area is already overburdened with a cloud of more than 40 years of spent fuel rods, not to mention that it sits upon, and the pipeline will sit upon, the Ramapo fault line. This is an active geological time bomb. Further, the potential for an explosion at the gas line adds yet another time bomb to this already fragile and overcompromised area. This is simply unconscionable. And the issue of increased radon levels from the increased gas volume that will travel through our communities cannot be overstated. The extended gas pipeline would potentially contaminate our resources, our water, the very air that we breathe, and the very earth that we walk. Not to mention a further strike against our property values, which folks were hoping might finally rebound and begin to recover since the housing market collapsed. If you approve this expansion, once again, profits will win over people. And once again, corporate expansion will prevail over in the face of ecological sensibilities. I ask that FERC consider viewing this expanded pipeline as the potential weapon that it is. It's an armed weapon that would lie right beneath our homes, our yards, our schools, and our playgrounds. I appeal to your sense of humanity and your intellect. Please do not place our citizens unnecessarily in harm's way. Please say no to the Algonquin pipeline. As you know, many Americans unfortunately don't trust the federal government. Many think that the federal government will do whatever they want and won't listen to the average citizen, which is us. Many people think this is already a done deal. Many people think that the federal government has made up their mind and that having these formalities, these hearings, is just a formality, further degrading their trust. Many people don't trust the federal government. They think that they will choose profits over people. Many Americans think that the government will side with special interest groups like Spectra Energy over the people. I'm asking you to restore our faith. Listen to what we're saying and do what's right. It's wrong to have a pipeline within feet of an elementary school. It's wrong to put a pipeline underneath the nuclear power plant. It's wrong to put a pipeline in the community that's already burdened with the gypsum plant, the nuclear power plant, and the garbage burning plant. It's wrong to put the pipeline. Okay, let me just say, I just hope that you will do what's right. Thank you.
We're not going to get through everybody this evening, and the more time it takes in between each speaker, we're not going to get through everybody this evening, okay?
My name is Catherine with the C, Draper, D-R-A-P-E-R, and I'm here representing Assemblywoman Amy Paulin, P-A-U-L-I-N, who was not available this evening. I appreciate the opportunity to comment on the draft environmental impact statement for this project and thank the staff of FERC as lead agency for its lengthy analysis of the potential effects of the project. I urge FERC to continue to examine closely the impact of the proposed project, and I'm particularly concerned about the potential negative health and safety impacts on the residents of the area near the Indian Point Energy Center. It is imperative that the Commission enforce all of the recommendations of staff contained in Section 5 of the EIS, many of which are required to be completed prior to the end of the draft EIS comment period. If the project is approved, Spectra Energy must also be required to comply in all respects with the requirements of New York State law regarding environmental protection, both during the construction period and during the operation of the project. Given the proximity of this proposed project to both Indian Point and the proposed West Point Partners transmission project, and the devastating nature of a potential accident affecting Indian Point, FERC must do an independent and rigorous analysis of the possible hazards of locating these projects so close to each other. Requiring Entergy to perform a hazards analysis and Algonquin to perform an AC/DC interference study is an appropriate first step, but FERC staff must not simply accept those studies at face value. I expect that they will be evaluated by an independent expert or experts acceptable to FERC staff, and that Spectra Energy will bear the cost of that evaluation. Currently proposed plans for construction near St. Patrick's Church, the Buchanan-Verplank Elementary School, and other local community resources do not adequately protect local residents from noise, dust, traffic disruption, and other negative impacts during the proposed construction period. Spectra Energy must agree to more extensive and appropriate mitigations as required in the DEIS. Families living near compressor stations or metering and regulating stations must not be subjected to health risks from emissions into the air or water. Therefore, I agree with the many citizens and public bodies who insist that FERC should require an independent, comprehensive, and transparent health impact assessment prior to any approval of the project. In addition, approval of the project must be conditioned upon continued monitoring and, if necessary, mitigation of adverse environmental effects during the construction and operation of the project. The comprehensive nature of the DEIS is evidence of the number and complexity of important issues that need to be addressed in order for the proposed project to be built and run in a manner that does not have significant negative effects on the natural environment and the residents of areas near the proposed pipeline. I urge FERC to take the time necessary to ensure not only that all relevant issues are considered, but also that Spectra Energy will follow through on all of the recommended mitigation measures. Thank you.
Good evening. Joseph Hochreiter, Hochreiter. I'm the superintendent of the Hendrick-Hudson School District. I'm here representing approximately 2,500 students, hundreds of staff, and thousands of residents by way of our Board of Education of the Hendrick-Hudson School District. In fact, on September 10th, our school board unanimously approved the resolution calling for increased safety concerns given the close proximity to our schools and further study of impacts of our project. I authored a letter sent to Kimberly Bowes at FERC in D.C. I'll read that letter and provide it for the record. We respectfully request that the Commission consider the impact of the proposed new pipeline through the hamlet of Verplanck and expanded pipeline through the Hendrick-Hudson School District. Several large energy and industrial facilities presently exist in proximity to the site of the proposed Algonquin landfall in Verplanck. Indian Point Nuclear Facility, Continental Gypsum, Resco Garbage Burning Facility, power facilities in Stony Point and Haverstraw, and the Champlain Hudson Power Cable, which FERC recently approved. Massive quantities of power, energy, and pollution are concentrated in a very small area of our community right now. We ask, how much more can one small community safely accommodate? Algonquin's route is dangerous. It's within a mile that you'll find several of our schools. An explosion of a gas line would be catastrophic. Our fire department is not equipped to handle a disaster. The project will substantially impact all who reside along the pipeline as this project cuts through Westchester to Connecticut and beyond. The safety of our schools and our students are paramount, and it is in jeopardy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Richard Clinchy, C-L-I-N-C-H-Y. I'm a councilman in the town of Somers. I'm come here tonight to represent the town board and the people of Somers to you. It's a reasonable town. We passed a resolution that called for more study for this pipeline. We didn't call for the end of it. We didn't call for the cessation of it because we didn't have enough information to say, let's stop it. But we don't have enough information to say, let's go on with it. And that's the point tonight. I think all these people here, even the workers who are here, would say, let's make sure that we've done this safely. The first job of government, of course, is the safety of its people, whether it be from outside of the country or from inside the country, whether it be from crime or from environmental problems. And that is why I am here, because I believe that the environmental problems associated with this, those questions have not been answered appropriately. The proximity of the pipeline to Indian Point seems to most people to be incredulous. Well, why would you do that? Why is it too close? People fear that in the town of Somers, even though we're not right on that, right on the Hudson River. People talk about that. They also wonder about the emission of gases from compressor stations. We've been told that the gases that are emitted right now exceed EPA limits. We want to know if that is so, and if so, what are the health dangers associated with that? How about those that are close to elementary schools? There couldn't be a more population that needs to be protected more than kids. We hope that you'll be able to answer those questions. People understand that there are jobs at stake. People understand that the country needs more clean energy. But the first thing we have to do is make sure we protect the safety of people. So we say to you from the town of Somers tonight, complete all the studies first. Don't wait till after you've approved the project. Make sure all information is transparent, and make sure that it was all done independently. It's the least that we can ask. It is the job of government, and we're sure you'll complete your responsibilities. We urge you to do so. Thank you so much for your time.
Good evening. My name is Kathleen Talbot, and that's spelled Kathleen with a K, Talbot, T-A-L-B-O-T. And I'm here tonight as a longtime 5th-generation resident of the city of Peekskill and also a member of the Peekskill City Common Council. Happy to see that my colleague from Somers is here. Several of his constituents are friends of mine and have voiced a great deal of concern to me over this issue. So that's as far as this thing is being activated. People are very concerned. I'm extremely concerned about this project. The pipeline project proposed for our area, and I'm concerned for many reasons. We had Spectre come before our city council a few weeks ago, and a number of people who've been working on the opposition to this project based on the lack of information and the questions that were going unanswered about some of the concerns for safety and other issues. We found their answers to be very incomplete, and in light of all the deep concerns that I have, along with people in Peekskill that I've spoken to and other people on the council, my concern is for personal and property safety, adequate infrastructure damage coverage. We don't want to be in a position of having to mop up after this project is completed because there wasn't adequate insurance coverage for any damage done. The impact on home sales, environmental concerns. It's going through wetlands. It's going under Indian Point. Analysis of fire equipment and safety and proper training for our fire departments, because small towns and cities can't afford to outfit a fire department based on special needs like this. The impact of the pipeline's proximity to the Indian Point, as I mentioned, and also, of course, the river, which is a particular passion of mine, and its environmental safety is of great concern to me. So I urge you strongly to please do not approve this DEIS until these questions are answered. And I think the man from Somers, the councilman, said that best. You know, we need to have the answers to know what the safety issues are going to be, and then we can move from there. Thank you very much.
My name is Daniel Weisfeld, W-E-I-S-F-E-L-D, representing State Assemblyman David Buchwald, B-U-C-H-W-A-L-D. Assemblyman Buchwald submits the following statement. As State Assemblyman of New York's 93rd Assembly District, I have an interest in ensuring the health and public safety of the people I represent, as well as those who live and work in the areas affected by Spectra Energy's Algonquin Pipeline project. First and foremost, I have health concerns for New Yorkers, as the expansion of the compressor stations will lead to significantly increased emissions, which are associated with negative health impacts. The World Health Organization also links exposure to air pollution with neurological, cardiovascular, and respiratory impacts. Second, I have safety concerns for New Yorkers, as the location of the AIM pipeline is within close proximity to the Indian Point nuclear facility and a significant seismic zone. There is currently no advance notification of operation blowdowns, and the gas pipeline currently holds known carcinogens. The proposed route traverses the residential neighborhoods, coming within feet of an elementary school and public parks. Third, I have environmental concerns for our state, as the construction and operation of the pipeline could impact our wetlands and water quality and has the potential to impact the infrastructure of municipalities as well as emergency services. With those concerns related, it's important for me to note that AGT has safely operated pipelines in Westchester County for more than 60 years, and that the AIM project would utilize local union labor, providing more than 300 short-term construction jobs in Westchester. Therefore, I suggest the below recommendations to allay my concerns. Regarding health, I would like to see the result of an independent air emissions baseline assessment and a comprehensive health impact assessment. Regarding safety, I believe Spectra should be required to install the best available mitigation technologies and practices as outlined by the EPA. I would like to see the results of an assessment of the potential catastrophic explosion of a high-pressure pipeline in close proximity to Indian Point Nuclear Facility and a significant seismic zone. I oppose any construction of facilities located near schools, parks, businesses, or residential districts. And regarding the environment, I would like to see the results of an environmental impact statement as put forth under the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. I'd also like to see the continuous monitoring of air, water, land, and all other environmental impacts. I thank you kindly for the opportunity to express my suggestions. It's my hope that Spectra Energy will work cooperatively with FERC DEC to address these concerns before taking further action. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm County Legislator Catherine Parker, Catherine Catherine, Parker, Parker. On August 4th of this year, the Board of Legislators for Westchester County overwhelmingly came together to support a resolution to send to FERC and other federal agencies to call for 8 pieces of information. We, by the way, as the Board of Legislators, represent almost 1 million people for Westchester County. I will just go over quickly those 8 pieces of information that we are calling for. We would like an independent air emissions baseline assessment be conducted in the areas directly impacted by the proposed compressor and metering and regulatory stations modifications before permitting, and be monitored by an independent expert accepted to industry, local government officials, advocates, and the public, funded by Spectra. We have also asked that the best available mitigation technologies and practices be required to be installed on all components of the existing and proposed expansion of the Algonquin Pipeline's compressor and metering stations, including electric compressor engines, zero-emission dehydrators, blowdown prevention, vapor recovery units, and methane capturing equipment, and practices outlined by the U.S. EPA, and if gas-driven engines are used instead of preferred electric engines, then selective catalytic reduction. We also asked that advance notification of all planned blowdowns, either full or partial, and notification within 30 minutes following any unplanned partial or full blowdowns of the Stony Point and Southeast compressor stations and other gas pipeline infrastructure and operations, including but not limited to metering and regulating stations, pipelines, valves, fittings, and feeding operations be given to the County of Westchester in order to alert all residents. We also asked that a comprehensive and transparent health impact assessment, as outlined by the Centers for Disease Control and the National Academy of Sciences, be conducted by an independent entity accepted to industry, local government officials, advocates, and the public, and funded by Spectra. And we also asked that this comprehensive and transparent health impact assessment cover cumulative short-term and long-term, as well as direct and indirect impacts on all infrastructure components and operations of the AIM project. We also asked that a comprehensive, independent, and transparent risk assessment of the potential catastrophic explosion of a 42-inch diameter high-pressure pipeline in close proximity to Indian Point be completed. And we also asked that if we do oppose any construction of maintenance facilities near schools, parks, housing. We also asked that Spectra comply with New York State law and that it has a gold standard for environmental protection by undergoing a full environmental impact statement. Thank you very much.
Good evening and thank you very much. My name is Mary Jane, M-A-R-Y-J-A-N-E. Last name is Shimsky, S-H-I, M as in Mary, S-K-Y. I am the Westchester County legislator for the 12th District. I am here to share the concerns of my constituents and many Westchester residents about the health and safety assessments that have yet to be done for this pipeline. The resolution that Legislator Parker summarized was passed before the DEIS was publicly issued. Now that it's been issued, it's clear that there are a great many deficiencies. First of all, the types of analyses that Legislator Parker summarized are not present in the DEIS. Second of all, there are specific issues which were either not included at all or were not dealt with in sufficient detail to draw informed conclusions. The final conclusions on safety-related conflicts with Indian Point are not provided. A field sampling plan for potential soil contamination is not provided. New York State DOS approval of consistency assessment for Hudson Crossing has not been obtained. Design modification for New York M&R stations are not complete. A site-specific construction plan for St. Patrick Church is not provided. A site-specific construction plan for Buchanan Verplank Elementary School is not provided. In addition, as I said, the basic risk and environmental baseline testing has not been covered. This pipeline's potential conflict with the Spectra Atlantic Bridge project also has not been covered. Therefore, we ask that the DEIS be withdrawn until all issues are fully addressed in a supplemental DEIS, and then a new public comment period of no less than 90 days commence upon its release. The signatories who have not already been represented or spoken here tonight include State Senators Andrea Stewart Cousins and George Latimer, Assembly Members Shelley Mayer, Steve Otis, and Tom Avenanti, Westchester County legislators Mike Kaplowitz, Catherine Borgia, Peter Harcum, and Lyndon Williams, Rockland County legislator Harriet Cornell, Putnam legislator Sam Oliverio, Town Supervisor for Cortlandt, Linda Puglisi, Mayor Frank Catalina in Peekskill, Mayor Teresa Knickerbocker of Buchanan, Town Board members Amy Rosamarin of North Salem, Vinnie Vessi of Peekskill, Drew Claxton of Peekskill, Vishnu Patel and Nick Bianco of Yorktown, Deborah Costello of Buchanan, and Victoria Garrity of Ossining. Once again, it's important that we determine what the risks are and then use latest scientific studies of how to intelligently assess risk to make sure we're doing the right thing here for our communities. Thank you very much.
Don't interrupt the speaker while she's talking. Even if you agree with her, you're interrupting her time.
Good evening. My name is Richard Funchion, F-U-N-C-H-I-O-N. I'm the Deputy Mayor of Buchanan. This is our community here. It does not belong to Spectra. It does not belong to the workers on the pipeline. It is our community. The gentlemen here are all good, solid union members. We employ thousands of union members already in Indian Point. They have a statement saying our jobs are on the line. Our lives are on the line. You'll note the past speaker mentioned many elected officials. There's one thing that's very uncommon about what's going on here. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives of all areas of our community agree we do not want this pipeline. We have done our fair share. We already have a nuclear power plant. And after what happened at 3 Mile Island and Fukushima, we all are very nervous sometimes. Now you want to add a gas pipeline that you cannot say, once there are humans involved, there can always be an explosion. This nuclear power plant also stores its spent nuclear fuel outside the plant. The area that an explosion could occur in could damage that and release radiation. Radiation that does not know boundaries. Let us not forget that this nuclear power plant, and now what is being proposed adding to this pipeline, is located in the largest metropolitan area of the United States with over 25 to 30 million people that could be affected by this. This has got to be the most ridiculous suggestion about enlarging a pipeline. If anything, it should be taken out to protect the people of this country. Finally, what I want the panel to please keep in mind, I will hope, and I really sincerely mean this, I hope they have contacted the Department of Homeland Security, because enlarging this gas pipeline in conjunction with a nuclear power plant and the possibility of an electrical power line is doing nothing but creating a bullseye for Al-Qaeda, the perfect place to attack the United States. Thank you, and please stop the fight.
Good evening. My name is Frank Catalina, C-A-T-A-L-I-N-A. I'm the mayor of the city of Peekskill. I'm here on behalf of my 26,000 residents of the city of Peekskill. Our Common Council passed a resolution just as extensive, if not more so, than the County Board of Legislators. We're very concerned with the issues here. I won't repeat them all because you've heard enough of them already, and I'm sure you're going to hear a lot more. I'm very concerned about the pollution coming out of Indian Point and this project, answers to questions that were not given to us. I lost my wife to cancer, and I know 5 of her best friends that died of cancer. They all grew up in Croton. Something's going on, and we need to look at this very carefully. We asked the sponsors of this, the corporation, to come in and answer some questions. They could not tell us the limits of their liability insurance. They could not tell us the air pollution outtake. There was no emergency notification system to the local municipalities. What could be more important than that? And as someone said, we, local governments, are not equipped to handle a major catastrophe if one should occur. In fact, this company was reluctant to even recognize the disasters that occurred in California and elsewhere throughout the country. The draft environmental impact statement, I've been advised, had 72 issues raised, and 42 of them have not been answered as of tonight. So I think that this public hearing is a little bit premature, and I would ask you to take another night to come back when all 72 issues have been addressed. So we have an opportunity to look at the answers and come back to you with any of our concerns. I'm asking you to extend the comment period for at least 180 days after all 72 of those issues have been adequately addressed. I won't use all of my time, but I'll tell you, I find it despicable that companies and unions would come in here and divide this community with out-of-towners. And we are a union town. Peekskill is working class, average salary, median salary, I believe, is $38,000 to $40,000 a year. We would not be here without our union members. My father's a union member. My brother's a union member. I take great offense to the fact that anybody who comes up here and speaks on this issue is somehow anti-union. We are union, we're for jobs, we're for projects, but we're also for safety first, for the homeowners that live there, property values, and every other thing that you've heard. The City of Peekskill will be filing as an intervener in the federal action just to make sure you guys do your job, so we can have another avenue for redress of our concerns should they not be addressed by you. But we thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Teresa Knickerbocker, T-H-E-R-E-S-A, K-N-I-C-K-E-R-B-O-C-K-E-R, Village of Buchanan Mayor. I'm concerned about the health, safety, and welfare of our children and communities with this proposed 42-inch gas line. First, and most importantly, the proposed pipeline's proximity, 450 feet from the Buchanan Verplank School, way too close to our children. I respectfully request an alternate route from the school be studied and considered. The current proposed route comes through a residential area in Verplank, up Broadway, and veers towards the school. Also, I'm concerned with the proposed blow-off valve, a pigging station in a residential area near Blakely Avenue in Buchanan. Sorry. The releases of gases and contaminants will impact the health and safety of the residents. Also, the proximity to Indian Point Nuclear Power Plant and the plant's dry cask storage. Also, the proximity of the pipeline of the Buchanan Power Station and the potential devastating effect on surrounding communities and New York City. I completely agree with Ms. Koppel's submission to FERC. It is important to extend the DEIS comments and not cut off on September 29th. The review needs to be slowed down, many issues need to be addressed, and many questions still answered. Giving the public less than 60 days to review more than 900 pages is unreasonable. Not everyone is an attorney or an engineer. The project will adversely affect our community's health, safety, and quality of life. This evening, I'm going to submit to you a resolution passed by the Village of Buchanan Board opposing this pipeline and also still raising some concerns. It's dated September 2nd, 2014. I do hope common sense prevails. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening.
Good evening, Linda Puglisi, Supervisor, Town of Cortland, LINDA, PUGLISI. Welcome to Cortland, 40,000 people. I was present at your first scoping public hearing over a year ago, and I'm once again present at this public hearing tonight, testifying as the Town of Cortland Supervisor, representing our community, residents, and families who are strongly opposed to this large expansion of the gas line by Spectra Energy's AIM project. Their proposed project would be increasing a 26-inch pipeline to 42 inches, starting in Pennsylvania, going to New England from a pressure of 674 psi, pounds per square inch, to 850 psis, a 25% increase of pressure. Unacceptable. Both issues are tremendous threats to our community for the following reasons. This project has been planned to go only 500 feet from the Buchanan Verplank Elementary School. We do not want our children and grandchildren to be placed in harm's way. Thousands of families and their homes would be in jeopardy due to this large expansion. The gas from Pennsylvania is fracked gas, which poses a serious problem in our opinion due to the impact of the environment. Spectra claims they need to meet the demand for New England gas needs. Then go to Massachusetts, go to Rhode Island, not through Cortland or Buchanan or the hamlet of Verplank and beyond. We do not need to become the energy capital of the Northeast, nor the energy capital of America. We already have 2 of the nationwide 103 nuclear plants in our community. Enough. Oh, by the way, this large Spectra expansion would go in close proximity to these 2 nuclear power plants and would cross where there are not 1, but 2 fault lines. We have all spent many, many hours, held many meetings to discuss and properly research the threat to our area, our hamlet of Verplank, our village of Buchanan, to one of our school districts, and to thousands of our property owners, residential and commercial, that this project poses. We did not just say not in our backyards. We evaluated this proposal and have collectively determined that this huge expansion and the route would be harmful to our families, our children, to the oldest historic church in the region, and to our environment. As supervisor for 23 years, I and we in Cortland have always been pro-jobs, pro-union jobs, but just not this job, not this project. We ask you and we beg you to hear us and to reject this outrageous, impactful, proposed Spectra Energy Algonquin Incremental Markets pipeline. Thank you very much.
Sept, Councilman, Town of Cortlandt, FREACH. The proposed AIM project would seek to expand the capacity of an existing natural gas transmission systems in the existing rights-of-way. There is a significant portion of the project, however, which would require entirely new rights-of-way, create new impact areas, and affect the quality of life, safety, and security of the human environment in a disproportionate manner. The section of the project I refer to is the new crossing of the Hudson River and subsequent traversal through Verplank and Buchanan, between milepost 2.6 and mileposts 5.5. Table 3.5.1-1 in the AIM DEIS report looks at both the proposed Hudson River crossing route and an assessed alternative route. The report states that, quote, total number of houses potentially affected by either route would be small, end quote. It even depicts in the table that either crossing would affect a number of homes totaling only in the single digits. The DEIS arrives at the conclusion that the currently proposed Hudson River crossing route is preferable because, in part, it will only, quote, pass near 5 houses. I find this conclusion flawed for several reasons, and I would ask the Commission to further evaluate the following 3 points. 1. The distance used in the table to quantify the phrase passes near is 150 feet. Later in the report, however, the potential impact radius at this section of pipeline is quantified at almost 850 feet. I would ask the Commission to compel the applicant to reassess Table 3.5.1-1 and to reassess the Hudson River crossing site selection using the potential impact radius distances. Number 2, while not counted as a house, but still well within 150 feet of the new pipeline section, St. Patrick's Church on 11th Street in Verplank appears to have been ignored for the purposes of river crossing site selection. St. Patrick's is discussed in the DEIS as needing further consultation with regards to construction activities, but as the first and oldest Catholic church in our historic Hudson Valley, with its many families as parishioners who think of the church as their religious home, they were not deemed relevant for the river crossing site selection criteria. 3, further upon this new section of pipeline, the proposed path will bring the 42-inch pipeline's potential impact radius to the Buchanan Verplank Elementary School. This elementary school with 300 children in daily attendance, along with faculty and staff, represent an additional large population ignored by the river crossing site selection. Given the fact that the land area between milepost 2.6 and 5.5 is designated as a high population area, and that all structures therein, including homes, churches, and schools, have been designated as being in a high consequence area, I would ask the Commission to deem the Hudson River crossing site selection to be incomplete, and to call into question the statement that the proposed crossing site is advantageous because it will only, quote, pass near 5 homes. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Francis Farrell, that's F-A-R-R-E-L-L. I'm a town councilman in the town of Cortlandt. At every one of these hearings I've attended, people far more eloquent than I speak, and at every one of these hearings, people who are vastly more familiar with the details speak, and you have heard from them and will hear from them. I'm speaking tonight to add my voice in opposition to this project. When you consider projects like this, you rely on a great deal of information, technical information, projections, engineers' reports, the list goes on and on. And I have to ask, is there no room for common sense in your deliberations? You've heard, and you'll continue to hear, just the unsuitability of the site for a project of this nature. Besides the nuclear power plants, besides crossing a navigable river, I sat at the river this morning and counted dozens and dozens of container cars, each one carrying over 31,000 gallons of oil, traveling up and down the banks of the river. It's just madness. Talk about putting all your eggs in one basket. Why would you cite all this stuff right in one location? It just doesn't make sense. And I would ask the Commission to please use a little common sense. It pains me tonight to see so many union people here who seem to think the choice is between this job and no job. My father raised his family on a Teamster's salary and job. We have the greatest respect for union members in this town, as you've heard. And there's so much work to be done when considering our deteriorating infrastructure and all the work that could and should be done on developing an infrastructure for energy that is not reliant on finite resources like the ones we're talking about. There's much work to be done. This project offers a false choice to the union workers, and I wish they would realize that, and I wish that the Commission would please use some common sense in their deliberations. Thank you.
My name is Nick Zachary. I'm a trustee in the Village of Buchanan. Last name is spelled Z-A-C-H-A-R-Y. I would like to express my awe and respect for anybody that got through all 919 pages, I think, of this document. I certainly did not, but I did pick up one thing that I wanted to read. On page ES9, under major conclusions, it says, "We determined that construction and operation of the project would result in some adverse environmental impacts, but most impacts would be reduced to less than significant levels." I think I know the English language well enough to know that that is basically saying some impacts have not been reduced to less than significant levels. And I think we need more information on that. I particularly am concerned about what gases are coming out with the natural gas, what contaminants, because the gas that originally flowed through these lines was natural gas that was not fracked gas, which now has other potential components that are a threat to our health. So I'm basically just here to express my support along with the rest of the Buchanan Village Board, which is opposed to this on behalf of our residents. I'm going to request that alternative routes are sought out and that we are not made the sacrificial lambs to the energy gods. We have sacrificed enough. We don't want another backyard, not even one. We don't want another inch of property taken by easements and devoted to energy. We have sacrificed enough over the last 50 years in our area. Thank you.
Good evening, John Testa, Westchester County Legislator, District 1, TESTA. First, let me say I want to thank you for changing the night of this meeting from September 11th to tonight. By changing it, many of us are able to be here who could not have been here if you had it on the original date. So thank you for considering the change and making that change. I sat on the County Board of Legislators. Catherine Parker was up here earlier, who is the chairperson of the Energy and Environment Committee, a committee I sit on that put together, with a lot of input from the community members and other members of the board, an extensive resolution outlining the safety concerns that we have, and that's what I was going to do tonight, but since Catherine did that, I will not reiterate what she has already done. But I will say that we are concerned about the safety of our residents, and I think the best thing I can do tonight is add to tonight is to just discuss the human nature of this whole thing. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Peekskill, former mayor. A lot of friends of mine and people I've represented for many, many years in Peekskill, and now those I represent in the town of Cortlandt, Buchanan, Verplank, and Yorktown are very, very concerned about their family's safety, and rightfully so. I've met with them in their homes. I've met with them on the street. They're generally and genuinely petrified of what could happen to their families and their homes and their area. So I think what we need to make sure happens, all these risk assessments and baseline studies are done, and all the safety requirements and all the requests that have been made are made public and made easily accessible to everyone as the process goes forward. It's very important that the community feels that they're being listened to, that their concerns are being taken into account, and their safety is being paramount to anything else. So I want to just say that in case you did not get a copy of it, for the record, I'm going to hand in the full resolution that was passed overwhelmingly by the Board of Legislators in Westchester for the record. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Amy Rosmarin, R-O-S-M-A-R-I-N. I'm a councilwoman on the Town Board of North Salem. North Salem is next to Southeast, where the compressor station is located. Our highest density population is on Peach Lake, which is right on that border. Part of it is actually in Southeast, a couple of miles from the compressor station. I'm concerned for the health and safety of our residents. In July, our supervisor sent an email to Spectra asking that Spectra notify the town of North Salem if there is an intent of doing a blowdown of the pipeline, and to notify us within 30 minutes following an unplanned full or partial blowdown. We got a letter from the Director of State Government Affairs for Spectra stating that since Algonquin has no facilities in the town of North Salem, notification is neither required nor necessary. I am looking out for the health and safety of North Salem residents and urge Spectra to notify us. I believe that notification should be given to those who could be affected, regardless of town boundaries. Movement of airborne toxins are not limited by town boundaries. Furthermore, I call for an independent, transparent, and comprehensive baseline air testing, risk and health assessments. These assessments are necessary to protect public health and safety and are not included in FERC's DEIS. Until they are completed and reviewed by elected officials and the public, I call on all involved agencies to withhold approval permits. Thank you.